What's happening, guys? Happy Sunday and welcome to the Dynasty WarZone, the People's Dynasty podcast. We are back at it again, and with me this week is my co-host, none other than the man of the hour and the man with the power, Jerry. Buddy, how you doing?
Good. I walked in the door 45 seconds before we recorded this podcast, cutting it a little close at work. But Randall, my goodness, golly gracious, could I not miss a second week in a row with you? You did a wonderful job by yourself. I listened to it on my way to work. Just majestic work by you.
Well, first of all, thank you, but it was my fault. Normally when there's no Jerry, it's Jerry's fault.
Usually.
But last week, I don't know what came over me, but I could not have sat in this chair for 60 straight minutes.
You had the itis?
Dude, I had it, without getting too graphic for the listener, it was coming out of both ends and brutal, just absolutely brutal. But you know what? Managed to drink enough Pepto-Bismol to get through a 45-minute show on Monday. Not how I wanted to spend my holiday weekend, but what's going on with you, man? Tonight's show is going to be all about you. You're going to give us guys that you are trading away. We're going to talk about one of your tweets and good people, bad tweets, and then we'll even throw in at no extra charge for a podcast that is free at no additional cost. We will talk about a trade that you and I consummated this past week, but how about this? Before we go to our first break, what do you want? Any notes or nuggets from, I guess, OTA training camp, mini practice, whatever the blue hell you want to call it?
No, I'm not a person that buys into that. It's like the one dynasty thing that I don't consume. Like I love the combine, I love the draft, obviously. I watch preseason football. I know it's terrible, I don't care. But for whatever reason, whenever it's OTAs, I just feel like there's nothing actionable that ever happens, and it's always just me just drinking the Kool-Aid down. So nothing crazy. This is what I'll say though, Randy. Like I said, you did a great job by yourself last week. You self-deprecated a little bit. That's sort of Jerry's bit, saying you needed help running the show. Get the hell out of here, man. You've been running this show by yourself for 8 years. I just ramble every once in a while. But 2 weeks ago, we did a show together. And I, for the life of me, blanked on Miles Sanders and Jaden Blue going to the Dallas Cowboys, right? And you gave me some shit. Well, Randy, here's the thing. I rewatch our podcasts on YouTube. I like to be better. I like to get rid of the ums and the huhs and the
film.
A little bit. Like I'm not a super tryhard, but I also don't want to be a total boob. And I have this thing where I'm always moving around whenever, and I try to stop it. That's never going to stop. That's the ADHD, I think. But everybody threw a hissy fit about that. And let me just say this. If you are going to, I comment in the YouTube. I have our YouTube chat right up here. Anybody that's ever watched this on YouTube, they know that I respond in the chat. If you respond on the comment section in our YouTube, I respond. Sometimes people send trade offers. Sometimes they just say I'm dumb. And I deserve that a lot. Everybody was pissed off about Miles Sanders and Jaden Blue. And let me just say this. Piss off. Miles Sanders is not worth a millisecond of our time, and he hasn't been for the last 2 years. And yet I am giving it to him right now. And as far as Jaden Blue is concerned, I understand why Randy has this inkling to go after him, because the running back room there is not great. And if there's a possibility that he can do something, sure, you can flip him for a profit. But for the love of all good, I'm trying to think on the top of my head. I don't read the show sheet because I don't want to sound like a fake show. I don't. I'm hanging out with my friend here, and I've been doing it for 8 years. And I got 30 Dynasty leagues. So if you think you're tough shit, Jerry Sin DWZ on Sleeper, come and get some.
You guys have woken up the dragon. See, this is why I don't read the YouTube comments. I will say this on my boy Jaden Blue. I just like Jaden Blue because he's a good pass catcher, and I think he could be really nifty in that Schottenheimer offense. That's the reason why I like him. People would think, oh, well, then you must be banking on a Javonte Williams injury. I am actually not banking on that. I'm actually banking on Javonte Williams to stay somewhat healthy, get 60 to 65% of the workload, and then come back and let Blue learn the ropes so that he can take over last year. It'll keep the price depressed. I can be super exposed to Jaden Blue and in all formats. We're getting ready to talk about best ball with one of your crazy ass tweets here in a minute, but
not crazy.
I'll give you. I agree with you on the Miles Sanders take. I'm going to slightly disagree with you on the Jaden Blue take. But if you believe that Jaden Blue can do good things for you because his name is Jaden Blue, then Fast Draft Origins could be for you.
It is a damn shame we only get to do a handful of rookie drafts every season. After doing all this rookie analysis, you want more bites at the apple. And that's why we have the Fast Draft Origins tournament. You draft 6 rookies, the top 4 into your lineup. It's best ball style, and it's just $5 to win a $5,000 first prize. So if you're passionate about Taj Brooks or RJ Harvey, get on Fast Draft and use your favorite creator's code to get a $50 deposit match. A $50 deposit match to go make thousands of dollars drafting the rookies that you know and love.
The apple, man. Iconic.
The Podfather, so smooth with it. That's more of a baseball term. By the way, we didn't bring this up in the first segment, I guess, before the commercial. You're not going to be able to bring me down. We're in the middle of another Dynasty rookie draft. It is Indiana's state baseball tournament going on right now. We're wrapping up sectionals. Travel season starts this week. I mean, so much goodness going on in my life. The YouTube comments could never bring me down. Speaking of the YouTube comments, shout out to our homie Brittany. Brittany, if you follow her at bfoxworth7, just retweeted an article I believe she wrote. I believe she does a little writing for the fantasy footballers. Go find her on Twitter X and give her a follow, but then also read the article. Clicks are clicks, baby. All right, Jerry, speaking of clicks, you put out a very click-worthy tweet the other day. And it's and for the people that are listening audio only, if you've seen it, it's that picture of what looks to be Abraham Lincoln-esque fellow. It's not Abraham Lincoln because he's wearing like a leather jacket or a Carhartt.
It's like a blue collar guy.
He's a blue collar guy standing up in a room, and it just basically means that guy's testifying. He's standing on business. And on this tweet, Jerry Sinclair said, "Best ball is the worst variation of fantasy football. I have questions. I have concerns. But spill it. Give us the 411. Give us the information."
For one, I'm not really a huge tweeter. Like I'm not. And so I literally opened my phone up.
Tweeter or tweaker?
Tweeter.
Oh, okay.
Tweeter. No, I'm not a tweaker either. I look like one, I guess, a little bit, but
it's your inner Iowa coming out.
Yeah, it is. So like I tweet that, whatever. I'm just stirring the pot a little bit. I come back, I got a ton of notifications. I don't ever tweet. So I was like, oh my God, this is the most annoying thing in the world. I don't know how people just go for clickbaity stuff. It was so terrible to get notifications over and over again. Anyway, in what world is it not the worst variation of fantasy football, Randy? Like, it's a draft. Every other form has a draft, plus it's got other stuff. Like, I'm not saying that, like, best ball sucks. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I understand it's to kill time. I understand that in the off season you need to do things, and we're all degenerates, and not everybody wants to have 40 dynasty leagues. I get it. But like, it really is the worst. Like it's ice cream. Like, you're cool that you have ice cream. But like, I can also trade in dynasty. That's a little sprinkles. You know, I got, you know, I get that all off season. I can have a cool pickup. I can make fun of my friends. You know what you can do in best ball? You can make fun of your friends the very last week, but actually you forgot about it. You didn't even remember that you drafted it because you drafted it June 1st of 2025. And we're talking about next February. Like, you're just, it's cool. It's fine. It's
let me
fine.
fix you. Allow me to fix you.
There's no argument because every other format of fantasy has a draft with other things. Like, it doesn't mean that best ball sucks. It just means it's a dumbed down, lazier version of fantasy football.
So you are primarily a dynasty guy. You said you have 30 teams, right?
Yes.
So for me, as someone who has roughly the same amount of leagues, to me, redraft is the most pointless version of fantasy football. And it's not close. You know, we have our boy, the fantasy plumber, in the YouTube chat right now. It's like, what a plumber brings to a job site is not the same thing an electrician brings to the job site is not the same thing a carpenter brings to the job site. And it's not, I'm not going to say that one or the other trade is more important because they all go together to form a really good home. I think best ball is actually a crucial part of fantasy. I think best ball, especially this time of the year, OTAs, I think it forces you to stay on top of the news. It gives you something to do. It's not exactly like cocaine level expensive of a habit. If you're on Fast Draft, which by the way, people always like, make it easier to get the link. That is the one comment I've read. Make it easier. It's the very first thing. It is the very first thing when you click on the YouTube description or the podcast description. It says right there, what is this Fast Draft thing? Click it. You can go there. You can use our promo code. You can use WarZone. But for me, best ball is a cheap way to stay sharp on the news, because by the time most of your redraft leagues hit, you know what, late August, early September, all that information is out there and it's aggregated and it's aggregated and it's aggregated and it's everybody's doing it, including the big dogs, the fantasy footballers, which we like the fantasy footballers and Matthew Berry and all those big redraft platforms. But that redraft is set up for margin accounting. Guys and ladies that do not watch football the way that we watch football, you are never, ever going to convince me that best ball is worse than redraft. I'm sorry, you can't do it.
Which is fair. The problem is the people that play redraft.
Redraft is the March Madness of fantasy football. So it's when all the casuals show up, brother.
So when you call out best ball like I did, you get all of the best bro like cats in your comments, and a lot of them kept calling fantasy boomer ball, which is awesome, and I'm probably going to steal that because it is. You're right. Like, hey, I mean, I don't play best ball because I like to, like, I just like dynasty leagues. If I was going to do a best ball, I would just do a dynasty startup. I mean, that's me. But like, I would do a best ball way before I did a redraft. I have one redraft league. It's my oldest league that I've done for like 15 years or something. And that's the only one I'm probably ever going to do, because fantasy is boring. I'll give you that. But also, best ball is just a draft. I think it's a mock draft. It's a mock draft, but you keep the mock draft team.
Well, but the draft is the best part.
I disagree. Trading is the best part.
It's like having kids. The sex is the best part. I mean, there's a lot of work to do after that. There's a lot of work to do after the draft. But that's the best part. And it's like, again, if you like slower, like I know Underdog and FFPC, they can do slower best ball leagues. But if you just want to crush volume, that's where the platform like Fast Draft comes in.
Listen. There's no way that best ball does not continue to get bigger. And it should. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a good thing.
It's next.
100%.
Boomer.
100%. It is going to take this game that we play, this fantasy universe, and make it even bigger, because you can make content so easily from it, and there's such a data set that you could do, because I could draft on Fast Draft. I could draft 100 drafts today, and you can find so many trends. So it's absolutely going to change this game and the way people consume this game. Eventually there will be a, like, what's the poker theory where it's optimal poker theory or whatever it's called?
It's GTO, game theory optimal. Game theory optimal.
At some point, once the nerds really get a hold of best ball, you'll have something similar for fantasy football. And it'll be because of how they study best ball.
And that's why Dynasty is, in my opinion, the purest form. because every game, whether it's poker, I mean, you could even say the stock market, the housing market, whatever, as more information comes out, it gets easier to make decisions. When you're drafted in a rookie draft, and there are plenty of leagues out there where they draft before the NFL draft, forget after the NFL draft. But when you draft, I think there was at least 2 leagues that I started that we drafted the Saturday night after the NFL draft. It's like, nope, we're not messing around. 8-hour clock, make some picks. That is the purest form because, like I said, as information comes out, you start seeing depth charts, you can start making more decisions. And then by the time August rolls around, because you have people like Player Profiler that do a great job with the draft kit. By the way, you'll be shocked to know that I wrote up J.J. McCarthy. I didn't choose him. He chose me. They asked me to write up J.J. McCarthy, and I had to put a very neutral J.J. McCarthy article out there. I'll just say this. If it was the old Mary F. Kill, game, we're Mary and Dynasty.
Yeah.
I'm banging best ball, and I'm killing redraft. Get it out of here, Jerry.
I mean, you're probably right. You're probably right.
I am definitely right. And you know what? Just because I love Jerry, and there is no bias. There is no bias here on the
Give
Dynasty.
Me Dana.
You goddamn right. You're getting Dana. Here you go.
Motherfucker on the planet. Holy shit.
It cut off the first word. It said dumbest mother. Anyway, that is good, people. That is Jerry's bad tweet. Now, Jerry, I want to get into some of the guys that you are moving off of Dynasty, but you and I are doing what is, I think, one of my last rookie drafts. Most of mine are done. I know.
Yeah, I think I probably got one. I think I have one left, plus a Devi league.
Okay, well, Devi's awful fun. For me, I think this is the last one, but I need to look. Essentially, I need to look. But you and I are doing a trade, and I will say it is an IDP league.
Mm-hmm.
So we start 20 total players, 10 on offense, 10 on defense. To keep it simple for everybody, we'll focus on the offensive side of the ball. But when you have a draft like that, and there's a lot of premium at the linebacker, the off-ball linebacker position, the defensive end, the defensive tackle. But for the sake of this conversation, we're going to focus on the offensive side of the ball, because I think we both drafted offense with the picks that we used. Maybe I did. So I'm going to go to you. You sent this to me. You offered me Nico Collins and the 210 because I remember trading for your 110 and I sent you back. So I got Nico Collins and the 210 and I sent you back the 110 and Jameson Williams from the Lions. Now, first of all, before you get into your thought process, I will give this is Jerry walking it like he talks it. He has been in on JMO all off season. It was a big trade. I didn't even haggle. I said, yes, please. I will take Nico.
Which I was surprised. That might be the first time you've ever done that. I didn't know you accepted it until they told me I was on the clock.
I didn't even try to squeeze you for that random fourth. Nope. I was just like, I am not letting this one go. I'm not super exposed to Nico. I thought it was a good trade. I really liked it, given my needs elsewhere were linebacker in this league. My needs were defense. So for me to go back a full round and I'll look at who I got, but please tell me what came through your brain when you sent that offer.
So it was 112. So it was the very end of the tier, not 110. So it was Jameson Williams and 112 for Nico and 210. It was the very end. It was the last person in that tier that I wanted. And I didn't care who it was, because I sent that when 111 was on the clock, and it was Caleb Johnson and it was Colston Loveland, and I didn't care. I just wanted one. I sent that exact same trade to whoever had 111 too. It wasn't Jameson. I don't remember which wide receiver I tried to get. It's not that I'm against Nico Collins. Love Nico Collins. It's not that I'm like overly hyped on Jameson Williams, even though I do think that he is going to improve. It was just, I think I can take a little step down, and I didn't think anybody that I was going to want at 210 was going to be there. And you ended up taking Tyler Shuck. I would have taken Trey Harris. So because I looked earlier once I found out we were going to talk about it. So would I take Jamison Williams and Colston Loveland or Nico Collins and Tyler Shuck? Like that's a pretty good deal. Like I could see it going either way, honestly. I mean, I would have done Trey Harris, so either way, but I think the Lions offense is going to be fine. I think Jamison Williams is going to grow into a more explosive player. I think he's going to get more rushing opportunities. He had 1,000 yards in 15 games. If he plays 17, can he get to 1,200? Can he get to 1,150? Maybe. Also, if he just grows to be a better player, can he get up a little bit more? The Texans drafted 2 wide receivers pretty freaking early. So, like, is there a chance he takes a hit? I don't think it's a big one, but and I have George Kittle in that league, and I finished in 3rd place. It's a good team. It's a tight end premium league. I like Colston Loveland. Don't look at the helmet behind me. I like him.
I was more than happy to do the deal. Yeah, I did take Tyler Shuck. And the reason why, I've only got 2 QBs in this Superflex league. Now, they're really good. I got Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert. So I'm good there. But I didn't have a 3rd. And I'm like, well, if anything, I just bought myself a year of bye week fill-ins. And maybe he becomes something. I've actually heard and seen good things in camp. And I'm sitting here looking at this. I'm like, you guys are just letting me run away with this thing. My God. And I know you don't win it in June or May or April, whenever the draft is, but I'm winning this draft. I'm winning this draft. I feel really good about it. I'm getting ready to steal one right now. I'm not going to say.
I had Quinshon Judkins drop to me at 110, so I got Judkins at 110, and then I got Loveland at 12. Woo!
I will say, I will not mention their name to protect their identity. It's crazy to see how much higher the RJ Harvey hype has gotten. RJ Harvey went 107 in this league. It was your standard big 6 as far as I'm concerned. Genty, Travis Hunter. This is again IDP, so Travis Hunter is right there in the mix for the 101 given this format. You can play him both sides. Omarion Hampton, Tet McMillan, Travion Henderson. Went to your boy. Travion Henderson at 5. Yes, please. Now I've got Travion Henderson, Bijan Robinson, and Breece Hall. You guys just love me.
That's a good one. That's a good run.
I passed on Cam Ward because I was hoping to get Jackson Dart or Shuck or even Shadur later. Then RJ Harvey at 7. What do you think? Because again, we talked earlier just a few minutes ago about as information comes out, things change. Like when those drafts were going on the day that the NFL draft was over and we hit the draft now button, Quinshon Judkins was going 106.
Yeah.
What do you think? Or I'll 2-part question. What do you think about RJ Harvey leapfrogging him? And are you surprised?
I'm not surprised, but hell no. Not for me. I mean, like I said, I got Quinshon Judkins at 110. Thank you. I will appreciate that every single time. Somebody always gets the hype. Every single time. And I'm not going to say that he's Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but like there's always somebody that's Clyde Edwards-Helaire in every single draft. And I'm not saying that that's his outcome will be the same. There's a real chance RJ Harvey does well because we've seen guys get the hype and then they did really well. Once you get past your big couple of guys, I'm fine if you take your stab. Like, honestly, like even if you took Caleb Johnson there, if you believe in the guy, by all means, Randy. Like, I think the percentage of their likely hitability, that's a horrendous phrase. Good God. The percent chance that they are a hit is very similar. Like, I think between all of those guys, between either of the tight ends, between Quinshon Judkins, between RJ Harvey, between Caleb Johnson, all of them. So I'm fine with you going with whoever you want. I like Quinshon Judkins better, so I would do that. I would probably take the tight ends before RJ Harvey. Like, I liked RJ Harvey when I got him at 201, 112, 110 maybe. 107's a little pricey for me, which is why, Randy, this guy, Gerald Matthew Sinclair, co-host of the Dynasty WarZone. My mother named me that. Hopefully she's listening. She's a wonderful person. Now everybody knows my middle name. I'll just get you my social security number. I've been flipping those trades. Like, I'm sorry. Like, those picks, excuse me. I've been trading them for the Kenneth Walkers of the world, for the Derrick Henrys of the world, because I know what those guys are going to do, at least in Derrick Henry's case. I've been everywhere. I've got Caleb Johnson and I've got RJ Harvey. And if I don't already have Derrick Henry, I've already sent all of those offers in all of my leagues because I know what he's going to do for 3 years. I don't know what they're going to do. And I know he's going to be around for 3 years. So I'm just going to take that.
Well, I appreciated the offer. Like I said, normally I try to squeeze Jerry because Jerry's always the guy that, hey, I wouldn't bend over and pick a 3rd round pickup off the ground if it fell out of my pocket. So I didn't even mess with it. I'll just say I'll ask you, is it fair to say I've not been the biggest Nico Collins guy in the history of this podcast?
That's true.
But I do think that it's within the range of outcomes where if he stays healthy, he could easily be top 5 at the position. And I kind of felt like for me, for my roster, it gave me like the alpha. Well, I guess that's not true. I got Malik Neighbors. So, I mean, Malik Neighbors, I get Nico as my 2 or Malik as my 2. It's like 1A, 1B, and then DJ Moore, Chris Godwin. I feel like I'm doing okay. I feel like I feel like it made me really solid, and I was not going to get the impact player at 112. But you did draft at 110 too, so that's where my mistake came in. So
yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to cover that. I thought it was a good trade. I thought it was a fair trade. I don't normally just automatically say yep, but on that one right there, it's like, and I will leave you guys in this segment with this, right? When the deal is good, the deal's good, right? It's just you know, don't be happier than happy. I think Colin Cowherd said that. It was one of his few good ones. Don't try to be happier than happy. I was happy with that trade. Would I have been happier with Jerry's 310? Of course I would have been. But I was happy to get that deal. So don't try to be happier than happy. And if you want to be happy with your Dynasty game, maybe we can interest you in the Dynasty Deluxe.
If you play in Dynasty, you need Dynasty Deluxe, our premium package for Dynasty Leaguers. We rank over 300 players, updated every week, all year long. And there's a win now mode and a rebuild mode with Superflex and tight end premium controls. And a Dynasty League sync where you can say, sync down all of my sleeper teams, all my FFPC teams. And then you can browse around your leagues for who has needs. And then you can use our trade finder to see what kinds of trades are happening in leagues that are similar to the one I want to do. Then you can analyze trades using our trade analyzer, which balances the lifetime value, which includes pick values out to like 2028. All of that plus the rookie guide, $25 value is included. So if you're just in one Dynasty League, Dynasty Deluxe is well worth it. And use your host's promo code, and you can bump up to all in and get $25 off.
You can get $25 off. Promo code's WarZone. Just like Fast Draft. Promo code's WarZone. I need to get like the little gimmick thing. Remember the little crawl that used to go across the bottom of the TV? You're old enough. I know you're younger than me, but you're old. You're old enough, and if you're listening and like you're watching on YouTube, say something in the chat. But the little crawl that went across to ESPN and it went in alphabetical order of sports, and like if you missed like the one, it was like my wife would inevitably come up to me and say something. It's like I'm trying to get like a certain college football or pro game or whatever. My wife be like, "Hey, honey," and it was gone. All of a sudden, it went from pro football to pro basketball. I'm like, what have you done? I'm going to be here for another 45 minutes. Or not ESPN, CBS does it now with fantasy. Across the bottom, they'll start putting out stat lines. Dude, that hits. I know it sounds odd. We have this what I call the stress rectangle. We keep the stress rectangle in our pocket at all times, and we can always check stats. But dude, there's something about that crawl at the bottom of the screen. I'm addicted. I'm addicted.
We're a product of the early 2000s Sports Center, man.
Dude.
A time gone by.
Good old days. Anyway, speaking of things gone by, there are some guys that you're going to be letting go by on your dynasty roster. And
What a
so I've been doing this for a while, man. But give us a guy so you can go, least absolute to most, or just you can throw one out there.
I'm just gonna spitball. Christian McCaffrey, first and foremost. Randall, listen, I know when the man is on, the man is very good. I get it. We've seen 3 catastrophic injuries in the last 5 years. Why would I want to rely on that? Because we're one more catastrophic injury away from him turning into dust, value-wise. And so while I understand if you are in the most contender of contender situation, and if you already have running backs outside of him set up, that you wouldn't want to sell him. I just think in a vast majority of situations, Randy, there is no damn reason. That team is already starting to fall apart, on top of the fact that he gets injured a lot, and on top of the fact that he is creeping towards 30, which is not a death sentence for an elite talent like him. Don't get me wrong. Just when it comes to being safe, if I want an old elite producing guy, I'm going to take the guy that's never been hurt and is built like a Sherman tank. So I'm going to take Derrick Henry in that situation. Christian McCaffrey just screws you. He looks great before week 1 on your team. When you set up your roster and you go, okay, this is what I got going in. And you start to get that little chub, or you get, for the ladies, you get, a little bit.
Hey.
I kept it PG-13.
Hey,
whenever that happens, when you start getting that roster boner, for lack of a better phrase, that's where Christian McCaffrey does it for you.
All right, I'm going to hit you with the player profiler ranking. Actually, I'm not going to tell you where he's ranked. You can go get the all-in package and use promo code WarZone. You'll have access to this, but I'm going to give you maybe a guy or two above him, or a guy or two above him, below him in the rankings. There's a 4-player gap between Derrick Henry and CMC, and Derrick Henry's on the right side of that. So maybe you can get that done on name value. I don't know. David Montgomery or Christian McCaffrey? Biased Lions fan.
That I am a biased Lions fan, and I also like him. But also Jameer's there. I got to stay Christian McCaffrey still.
This one right here, I'm going to love. Alvin Kamara or Christian McCaffrey?
Alvin Kamara. Not close.
All right. Chuba Hubbard or Christian McCaffrey?
Randy, the stability of Chuba Hubbard's situation drives me nuts.
I care what you think, but I care about their rosters more than I care about what you think. I just want to make sure we're making this applicable for the good folks watching and listening. For me personally, I think career-wise, Alvin Kamara has always been, again, from 2017 to now, he's been the better dynasty asset. I think people look at Christian McCaffrey and just can't unsee those year-winning seasons, and he's had a couple of them. I'm not going to discount that. But it's okay if Alvin Kamara is on my team and he finishes as RB8 on the season, and Christian McCaffrey finishes as RB1, because I'm not hurt. But I'm so much better shape if Alvin Kamara finishes as RB8 and Christian McCaffrey plays 7 games this year. Because I know, barring injury, barring suspension, Alvin Kamara has played just about every game throughout his career. Very high game played rate. So for me, Alvin Kamara would be someone I'd be looking at. I mean, David Montgomery, that's a very good line, because he is 1 year younger than Christian McCaffrey. He's not exactly a spring chicken. So I like that. I get why you're doing it. The name cachet carries a bunch. Now, let me ask you this on Christian McCaffrey. Would you sell him now, or would you wait until next month? I'm getting there. Would you wait until next month when you see him on social media running routes, running the ball, or are you going to wait until week 3 and move him then and try to move him for like one last big haul?
I see what you're doing there, and you're definitely going to want to trade him in the season because he is Christian McCaffrey. And if he can score you some points, like I would much rather sell at an increased value. And that is just simply not the case right now. We're talking about how expensive RJ Harvey is, not how expensive these veterans are that actually win us our championships when the time comes. 100% sell them in season. Thank you for correcting that situation. If we're going to talk about another one, you want to just keep talking running backs, Randy? Now this is
the Jerry show. Keep going.
Okay, this is a younger guy, and I think I'm going to piss some people off about it. It's just I don't buy him, and it's not that there's anybody else there that's going to stop him. So like he's still going to be productive and he's still going to be okay. I just do not trust Chase Brown long term. I don't know what it is. Like he was a good pass catcher, but like. He's going to be 26 years old, and we've seen like one good season. Like he had 900 rushing yards. I think he had a couple hundred receiving yards. Like he was good. Don't get me wrong. That offense is never going to be like, fuck yeah, let's go to Chase Brown. Like I have Joe Burrow, and I have T. Higgins, and I have Jamar Chase. Like, I understand they need to run the ball, and I understand that he is capable. But, like, when it comes to spending money and creating stability and creating a foundation of that team, Chase Brown is never, ever going to be it. In fact, a running back is never going to be it in that situation. So, like, he's a short-term asset that you can enjoy, and it's fine. Like I wouldn't like trade Chase Brown this year or like depending what you can get. Like I don't think it's like a catastrophe that we have to get rid of him immediately because I think he's fine. If you're thinking that you're going to rely on Chase Brown for an extended period of time, I think you are just lying to yourself.
All right, I'm going to hit you with some of the same guys in the same rankings over at the Dynasty rankings on Player Profiler. Chase Brown or Caleb Johnson?
Caleb Johnson.
Brown.
I understand why people think that's wrong and why it should be Chase Brown anyway.
Chase Brown or Kenneth Walker?
Kenneth Walker.
You know, I'm gonna deviate for just a second, and I'll get back to this. But we have our patron group chat, patreon.com/Dynasty WarZone, and one of our patrons, I think it was Sage, he was like, Kenneth Walker or somebody in Dalton Kincaid. And I'm like, I am so in on Kenneth Walker this year. That dude is in a contract year, you know, and we know running backs. He was a second rounder, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
I mean, he's made good money compared to us working class folk, but he's not made NFL good money.
No.
And, you know, running backs in a contract year, they act like the third money outside of the third monkey outside of Noah's Ark when it starts to rain. You got to fight for your spot. You got to fight for the top, and you got to get your spot. I think that's what Kenneth Walker is going to do this year. And I think Kenneth Walker, and then I'm going to sell him for a fortune in the offseason. You know, I love running backs more than any other position in a contract year. It is just dynasty, redraft, or best ball money. And I see senior football in the chat. Walker's always hurt. Yeah, but
100%. 100%. You're not wrong, brother.
But I think this is the year that he can maybe get 15, 16 games, finish in that top 6 or 7 at the position, maybe higher if everything goes well. He could be good. RJ Harvey or Chase Brown?
God damn it, Randall.
Well, it's my job to make it hard. I mean, like these people, they might be asking this question. It's like, hey.
I know, but that means I'm trying to tell you to sell somebody who's going at 107 to 110. Right?
Yeah,
like
so you're essentially saying we'll call it the 108. We'll split the difference. The 108 or Chase Brown.
I think I would take RJ Harvey over Chase Brown. But once again, just like Caleb Johnson, like I understand why someone would hear that and go, Jerry's off his rocker.
All right. Well, give us another guy that we can judge you harshly for wanting to. By the way, senior football come back with another good one. RJ Harvey. He's interesting with Sean Payton. This was the Podfather had. Is it Andrew Cooper? Coop A Fiasco, the tight end whisperer guy.
Mm-hmm.
He had him on the Mind of Mansion this week, and that is one of the best fantasy football podcasts I have listened to in the last 12 months. If you're a normal subscriber to Player Profiler, you probably heard it. If you missed it, go back and check that one out. But Andrew had a stat where it was Lombardi, Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator, the running back in his offense every year finishes like in the top 5 or 8 in the running back position at targets. Sign me up. Sign me up for a running back who's allegedly going to be used in the passing game. I am here for it. And we know, I mean, we already talked about Alvin Kamara. That offense has forever been so running back friendly. Yes, please. I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to share that about the podcast with the Podfather, Mind a Mansion from this past week. Anyway, Jerry, give us your next guy.
I'm going to go with another Bengal. It's T. Higgins. And I'm going to say T. Higgins probably for the rest of time, Randy. Because every single offseason, T. Higgins gets treated like he's Jamar Chase. He's not. Like, he's a poor man's Garrett Wilson. Like, I get that he had 10 touchdowns last year. But, like, we've never seen 1,100 yards out of this guy. And he's been hurt the last 2 years for a giant chunk of the year. Like, I'm sorry. And now he's locked into a contract with Jamar Chase. So, like, I would be more in on him if he wasn't with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. And I know normally that would be a weird thing, but brother, like, why do we just build a statue of this man and just worship it? I don't understand. Like, he's good. He's fine. If you have him on your team, it's fine. But if you think that T. Higgins is going to be someone you plug into your roster championship week and he's going to help you beat the person that you're going against, you are out of your mind. Like, no. I will 100% sell T. Higgins based on his name every single time. Dude's good. Dude's never going to be elite. Never, never, never.
I was trying to do some research. I was not expecting you to hit me with T. Higgins through the last year. Where do you? So he just got paid, right? So you would think he just got paid. From a fantasy perspective, where did he finish? He finished as wide receiver what last year?
20 probably.
17. Okay. And I'm
and that's with 10 touchdowns. Randy,
that's what I'm, dude.
That's all he did. That was the best that we've ever seen out of this man. I'm sorry, I'm flailing all around. I told myself I wasn't going to do that, but I just get too damn excited because everybody just freaks out for this man. Every offseason.
It's literally who you are as
I think he's good. Performer. Like, if he was on a different team, he could absolutely be the man. And I would absolutely have talked about him 2 weeks ago when we did our contender buys. But that is not the situation he's in. No, thank you, Randall. I'm good. See you, T.
I'm getting ready to hit you and the listeners with a hot one. What do you think you could get on top of Michael Pittman for T. Higgins? Like, you could get Michael Pittman and what for T. Higgins? Now, T. Higgins, I think you get more because I'm going to spoil the rankings. Player Profiler has T. Higgins as wide receiver 17. He's 26.4 years old. They have Michael Pittman as wide receiver 46. He's 27.7 years old. Before last year, T. Higgins had never scored more fantasy points in a season than Michael Pittman. Not even one time. And the best and the best seasonal finish of their careers, T. Higgins was a wide receiver 17, which was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Pittman 2 years ago, not last year, but the year before, the one with Gardner Minshew, was wide receiver 13 and missed 2 games that year because of injury because he got smoked in the Steelers game. All right. That is the level of hype. And I'm not saying that go trade Michael Pittman straight up for
100%
for T. Higgins, but I'm just saying there's plenty of T. Higgins level production at a lot cheaper price out there. That's the moral of that story. You can go get a Cortland Sutton and a ton in return. You can go get, I don't know that you get a ton with Zay Flowers, but Zay Flowers, you're going to get something. Terry McLaurin, and I understand Terry is 3 years older. That's okay. You know, people are still legitimately hyped about Devontae Adams at 32. How many?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want to.
That's a person I could talk about here too.
I don't want to jinx anybody. I've already talked about the career longevity of Alvin Kamara. Terry McLaurin never been injured. Pro's pro. I mean, if you tell me that guy's going to play 3 more good seasons all the way through that Jaden Daniels rookie contract, yes, please sign me up. I love it. And I just keep going. Like Emeka Ibuka, I don't know. Like Chris Olave. Would you rather have Chris Olave? He's wide receiver, or your boy Jamison Williams, wide receiver 34. You could have either. You could have either one of those guys, and something back.
I have long on this podcast been a hater of Chris Olave, and not just his game, just that situation. 100%, I'm taking Chris Olave.
I don't know how I missed that one. I could not agree more with you on T. Higgins.
I mean, not that Chris Olave is not going to help you win a championship either. Don't get it twisted. That's not what I'm saying. But I would rather have Chris Olave and a little bit of juice. Well, a little bit of sprinkles on my ice cream.
Well, let's go with guys right there in the same vicinity of the rankings at Player Profiler. Higgins or Hunter? Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter.
All day. Man, that guy, I know people like posting those dumb videos of him running a bad route, you know, whatever. Man, the last couple of days, he has looked just awesome at camp. And I know, again, it's camp. I didn't get too high. I can't get too high when the stuff's good, but I can't get, because I didn't get too low. Rashee Rice or T. Higgins. Rice all day, every day. Roma Dunze. Here's a little bit tougher one. Roma Dunze or T. Higgins.
That's fair. I'm fine with either one. Okay. I prefer Roma Dunze, but I understand why someone would take T.
I think you're
I just think the path to Roma Dunze being a wide receiver 1 in that situation is exponentially better than T. Higgins ever doing it, because he needs Jamar Chase to blast off to the moon and stay there and live there and try and start a new colony of super athletes for him to ever have a shot of being the wide receiver 1 in Cincinnati.
Yeah, we're going into T. Higgins. I think this is his 6th year. He's been in the league since 2020.
And everybody's been circle jerking him every single year.
And it goes back to him coming out of Clemson. By the way, him and Pittman are good 2 guys to compare. They're very similar in size, very similar in age. One, that being Higgins, went with the 33rd overall pick in that draft. Michael Pittman went with the 34th overall pick in that draft. Give me Pittman just as an example. And like we have Slashy in the chat said, you could easily get Pittman in a first for T. Higgins.
100%.
Heck yeah, man. Like if you need a wide receiver, but maybe you need a running back too, and maybe you think you could get 105. You think you could get 105 and Michael Pittman?
I mean, it's tough. It's tougher to do that now just because we're in like rookie season. Like if somebody has it, but like, and it's also probably a little harder to trade for the 2026 first round picks right now, just because we're still super into rookies. But like week 2, week 4, week 9, if you want to do that when people are trying, 100%.
All right, man. Well, we got about 10 minutes left, but give us another one.
I want to say somebody who's elite, Randy, and it's not because I'm mad at this person. It's not because I think this person is going to fall off. It's not because anything, but I'm trading Jaden Daniels because Jaden Daniels is worth an ungodly amount right now. I understand if you think that's crazy, but when you are peak hype, youth, elite production, your value is silly. Like this was Justin Jefferson after year 1. Like you got 4 first-round picks. Like Todd Gurley back in the day, Jonathan Taylor after he exploded. Like we've seen this over and over and over again. You can reshape your team and you can still get a good enough quarterback that's going to have a good enough amount of points and some juicy picks or a nice juicy player to add to it. I think it's a good strategy. I understand that it's risky and you want to have the elite young talent on your team. I just don't think it's wrong to gain value. And I think there's an opportunity to gain value by trading Jaden Daniels. I don't think there's ever a chance that Jaden Daniels' production increases enough to make that not worth it, if that makes sense.
I don't hate it. I mean, for me, I have to get someone in that conversation. I will say this. I'm looking at Player Profiler's rankings. He's number 3. And everyone and everyone in the top 6 are at least 27 years old. Well, I'm rounding up on Jalen Hurts. He's not quite 27 yet, but he is by far the youngest. I mean, Josh Allen, 29 years old. And another guy, super durable throughout his career. My thing about Jaden Daniels is if I were trading him away, now would be the time for exactly every reason you said. It's the exact same thing we did last year with CJ Stroud. Coming off of a super hot rookie season. Now, Daniels' season was even better than CJ Stroud's season. But Jerry, why do you think CJ Stroud struggled in year 2? Your personal opinion.
Defenses knew they had to focus on him. They saw that dude come out, light the world on fire as a rookie, and they realized, oh shit, we have to take this guy seriously. And they did.
And that is mine. A two-parter. So I will be. I'm not going to co-sign, but I don't hate you saying you want to trade him for like the world. Like if you could take a step back, quote unquote, take a step back and get a Joe Burrow, and maybe get a little something on top because his name is so hot right now. I'm totally here for it. I mean, I'm not going to go as crazy as to say CJ Stroud, but I'm going to do the same thing with Jaden Daniels. If you're selling now and if he struggles, I'll be buying next year because I faded that kid last year because he was a little bit older, 23-year-old rookie last year. But his work ethic, it's old school, man. He is that Tom Brady. He is Peyton Manning. He is that first guy in the building. He is watching film. He is a pro. So I could see where experienced defensive coordinators, especially a guy like I forget the name, Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, really tough. I could see him having some bad games. And let's be honest, Cliff Kingsbury, although he didn't have a big slip up last year, he's not been consistently the best play caller. He's been the best play caller in spurts. So if I'm selling Jaden Daniels this year, I'll be buying him next year because we just did a startup. We just did a startup with our patrons. We did Patron 20, and it is Superflex tight end premium. And CJ Stroud, I took him at the 110. I had no problem, getting hit. No, I take that back. I got Drake May at the 110, and I got CJ Stroud on the way back at the 203.
Yeah.
Thrilled by that combination. And I see senior football. By the way, brother, thank you, or sister. I get senior, so it's male. I'm going with what I think to be proper Spanish.
He knows his Spanish declensions. Look at this guy.
Yeah. And he's like, Joe Burrow, a step back from a ranking standpoint. Sure. I'm just going merely off of a group of rankings. My issue with Joe Burrow is I don't get the wheels. I don't get the wheels of a Jaden Daniels. And Joe Burrow, if we're concerned about Kenneth Walker from an injury history, Joe Burrow from the wrist to the knee, there was something else in there. I love Joe Burrow, but he's had at least 2 seasons that I can think of where he played less than like 10 or so games. So not a step back. Like if I were starting a franchise, we'll end on this one. You can give us a couple of rapid fires if you'd like, Jerry. You're starting a franchise tomorrow, or you're taking over a franchise. When Jim Irsay's daughter fires Chris Ballard and they promote you to the general manager, and they say, General Manager Jerry, you have your choice. Would you rather have Joe Burrow or Jaden Daniels to run this franchise for the next 8-ish years?
Joe Burrow.
I would agree. There's just Joe Burrow kind of has like that winner.
I just don't know that Jaden Daniels is going to be in the league in 8 years.
Oh no! Now you're just talking silly.
No, I'm not saying like he's not talented. He's not a huge guy, and at some point his speed is going to slow down.
How many years have we been saying that about Lamar?
Oh, okay, but he's not Lamar.
I understand, but we I'm okay. Like we've been going back and forth a little bit tonight with senior football. I'm fine with talking about Joe Burrow's had some injury issues. Kenneth Walker's had some injury issues. We'll talk about Jaden Daniels' injury issues when they actually start to happen.
I mean, fair, and Joe Burrow's have happened. So you're right. You're right. I got a little too far ahead of myself.
You got a little antsy in your pantsy. All right,
I did.
Give me some like rapid fire. Give me some names. And I'll give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
You're gonna give this one a thumbs down. I think Bo Nix. Had two. I'm sorry. It's not like an emergency. Like it's not catastrophic. It's not immediate. This is not DEFCON 1. I'm just saying, dude finished as a top 8 QB last year. They did not really add tons of pieces. There's a chance he regresses in the same way that CJ Stroud regresses. And if I can get that juicy value, boop, boop, get that profit. But I still believe in Bo Nix. I can come back and get him, and I can keep my profit.
I saw this.
Believe in him.
I saw this on the Angry Bird the other day. This year will be the first time since high school that Bo Nix has had the same play caller 2 years in a row.
That's absolutely
wild. So if there's anything to counteract the defensive coordinators making you a focus, it could be the fact that he's actually going to have the same OC 2 years in a row. All right, give us a couple more.
This one is just personal.
Uh-oh.
Like this is not advice.
He owes you money?
No, he does not owe me.
Not that person.
He has exponentially more money than I do.
Fair.
I just don't like him as much as everybody else does. It's Devon Achane.
He was one of my sells last week.
Like I don't trust that he is going to continue to be elite. He's a good player. Once again, just like I have said several times, I understand if you hear that and you're like, well, Jerry's the dumbest man alive. Because I get it. And somebody in the YouTube comments will say it, and I'll respond and say, I've done stupider things than that. But he's somebody personally with my teams that I'm not relying on. If I have him and he's my RB2, like I'm fine to keep it that way. But if he's like my anchor, I don't know.
I wanted to just get rid of him because when you drafted him a couple of years ago and you got him around that where RJ Harvey's going now, probably even a little bit later, if I'm being honest. But now if you're drafting him or acquiring him, he has to be your RB1. So if you have Devon Achane and he's not your RB1, then I'm keeping him. Or maybe you can get rid of him because you have another RB1. I don't know. I'm just getting out of the Devon Achane business. Last one. Yeah. Give us your last guy.
I'm trying to just pick somebody else because I had another quarterback, but I don't want to say Patrick Mahomes. That's boring.
I think Mahomes this year. I'm not.
I mean, he's a QB1.
I'm not saying he's a buy, but he's got my eye. Because you listen to, and I'm talking about from a non-fantasy standpoint, like this podcast talking like division winners, and I keep hearing people say this is the year that the Chargers or the Broncos catch up to them. Well, if that's true, and you have people on both sides, and then the Raiders should be improved, well, what does that mean? It means the teams in their divisions are better. They're going to have to, score more fantasy points. They should have all of their weapons healthy, at least to start the season. And you've got another year of experience for guys like Worthy. They added the one, I'm drawing a blank on the wide receiver they added that everybody's excited about. Fast guy, of course, because, they're going old school Raiders. But I see why you say Patrick Mahomes, but I'll tell you why I can't agree with that one. Can't agree with Patrick. If I got him, I'm keeping him.
I mean, I probably am too, but it's just so boring to have him. If you've ever had Patrick Mahomes, it's like you're going to get 17, 18 points a game, but it's every single time. It's consistent, but it's just like whenever I need a 26-point game out of somebody, and it's Monday night, and guess who's playing? The Chiefs are playing. I got Patrick Mahomes. I got a chance. 17.8 points.
You just gave up.
That's what he does in London. That's what he does at 1 o'clock. That's what he does in prime time. That's what he always does.
You just gave me an even better reason to keep Patrick Mahomes, is that you get to watch him in prime time all the time. So you always get to watch one of your players in a standalone game. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Jamie and the Fantasy Plumber. I'll show both on the YouTube stream. It's Royals. I don't remember if that was a Jalen or a Jaden, but it was J. Royals. And he was one of those guys that was cruising up draft boards as we went into the NFL draft. I just don't love the landing spot. I mean, we already talked about Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce. Where does he fit in? But there you go, Jerry. This show is all about you. Now, I've got to prep you guys, because not this coming Sunday, but Father's Day Sunday, I will not be here. And if I am going to be here, it'll be like the mobile.
Where's Daddy going?
Dad's going to Georgia. The devil went down to Georgia, and going to be a little baseball. Taking the gang down to Lake Point for a little bit of baseball. Baseball, like I said, is in full swing. Guys, if you're here for the fantasy advice, it is officially over. We're going to meander for a couple, 2-3 minutes, and then we'll be getting out of here. But yeah, man, I'm going down to Georgia like tomorrow. So I told my boss, we literally just got done with our busy season, like a week, right as Memorial Day got here, right? And I told my boss on Friday, I was like, I hope you've enjoyed working with me. He's like, what do you mean? Are you quitting? I'm like, no. I was like, it's baseball season. So because, the podcast, and I'm one of those people who are over how bad his voice sounds. So I'm the PA announcer for my son's high school team, and they are hosting the sectional this year. The cool thing is the IHSAA pays the announcer.
Oh, nice. Bro, I'm going to need that stream link.
I'll see if I can find you an old one. I can't, because the IHSAA has some weird streaming rules. But I told the coach, I was like, I'll make you a deal, right? I was like, you guys win this damn thing, and you can take all the money they're going to pay me and just buy snacks and food for the guys. Let's win this thing. They've won sectional 3 years in a row. And then, so I'm leaving work tomorrow, because the host site can pick what time they play the championship game, because all of them have to be played tomorrow. My son's school chose 12 noon. So I told my boss, I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving at 11. Are you coming back? I was like, no, but I will, goddamn Microsoft Teams. I will be on Teams meetings and checking in on stuff and answering emails. Then I'm going to work 2 full days. Then on Thursday, I'm leaving like at 12:31, tournament game at 3. On Friday, I'm not coming in until probably 1, tournament game,
bro.
Tournament game at 10. Then next week, I'm working Monday through Wednesday. And then Thursday, we're driving down to Georgia. It's like, dude, baseball season is what it's all about. And I can't wait, because Indiana has an embargo on fast draft. Just an absolute.
So you're just gonna.
Well, dude. So we're staying in an Airbnb, and I am going to be blistering. I'll be down there for 4 days. My goal, and I will make sure to tweet it out if you want to fast draft with me.
100 drafts.
No, even that would be impossible, because you got to feed these fuckers and take them to batting practice and make sure they don't burn down the Airbnb. And just they're 17. The good thing is,
they're burning it down.
Yeah, they're all screenagers. They're screenagers. They'll sit around, Snapchatting each other from across the house. It's most random shit ever. But it's whatever. It's fine. They're not burning. So yeah. So it's so the 12th. You'll be on your own. I'm working with the player profiler people to get someone to help you with the technical aspects. If not, I'll just take my laptop and the quality of the audio may not be as great because I'll be doing it and the camera, but we'll make sure that the show will go on because the tournament doesn't end until Monday. That was the one downside. Normally it's Thursday through Sunday. This one, for whatever reason, is Friday through Monday. So Monday, as soon as we're done, it's getting the truck and long way back to, it's about 7.5 hours, 8 hours. So not like crazy.
I mean, that's not terrible. I mean, whenever I drive back to Michigan, it's like 9, 10, depending. But, whew, yeah, planned on going this week. Took my vacation. And then my 13-year-old dog had what's called FCE, which is like a stroke in her spinal cord. So her back legs were all weeble wobbling. She's good now. She's recovering. But that is the absolute benefit, folks, of having a fourth-year veterinary student in the other room.
Yeah, I mean that literally saved you a semester of college.
Yes, when she goes to work at a world-class veterinary hospital, yeah, that's good. Thank you. But no, Lacey's good. She's still sort of learning how to walk.
That is your baby. That
is my baby.
As long as I've known you,
I would sell Justin Jefferson for her 100 times out of 100.
There you go. Well, speaking of world class, I can't promise you that the advice will be world class, but we'll be back next week. We'll be ready to do it again. Maybe we'll try to get a guest. We'll get someone to stop by. Those of you that made it through the nonsense, thank you so much. Jerry, I don't have anything else. I got to pee. So we're getting out of here.
Thank you for everybody in the chat. You guys are kick-ass.
Dude, the chat tonight.
Jamie, we're going to get you on this show one of these days.
We are going to get, you know what? We are going to get Jamie on the show, and just everybody that chipped in. It was like, I love it when the chat's rocking. You guys are awesome. You take such good care of me and my boy Jerry, but we're getting out of here. See you guys.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.